ChatGerry Metabolic Load, Structural Recovery, and Post-Stroke Decoupling of Heart and Kidney, number 1543, BPT096, February 21, 2026, Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation, Category CVD. CKD and Metabolic Systems. Preface. This report comes from my personal journey through three major health crises that affected three different organs: the heart, the kidneys, and the brain. These events did not happen at the same time. And they did not fail in the same way. They were the result of many years of heavy metabolic load, caused by obesity and long-term high glucose. What I learned from these experiences is rarely seen in a normal clinic visit. In most medical settings, health is judged by a single number taken on a single day. If the number is above a target, it is called bad. If it is below a target, it is called good. That method is like looking at a photo or a snapshot. My data are not a photo. They are a 17-year movie that reveals many insights. Only by watching the movie can we see how different organs heal at different speeds, how past damage leaves a long memory, and how the body can continue to improve even after a major event such as a stroke. These patterns cannot be seen from one laboratory test. Introduction. This is not a study of many people. It is the complete record of one fully measured life over 17 years. During this period I tracked body weight, glucose, blood pressure, lipids, food, exercise, sleep, stress, and hydration. From these inputs I calculated to long-term risk trends, one for heart problems and one for kidney failure. These risk curves describe the overall condition of the body, not a single lab value. They show how the system changes when the total metabolic load is reduced. My 5 heart events happened between 1994 and 2004, during the years of severe obesity. V or Y high glucose, extreme business stress, and poor lifestyle balance. My kidney failure appeared later, in 2010, after about 20 years of uncontrolled diabetes. My stroke occurred in 2025. It followed a different path. Many years of diabetes weakened the small blood vessels in the brain through vascular calcification, and a sudden surge in blood pressure at 175 mmHg caused any of them to rupture. One upstream problem set, the combination of body weight and glucose, produced 3 different failures in 3 organs at 3 different time intervals. After 2010, I completely redesigned my lifestyle without using any medications, including vitamins. Over the next 16 years, my body weight dropped from a BMI of 31 to below 24. My daily average glucose, expressed as an HbA1c value, fell from extremely high levels above 13% to near normal around 6%, from 2014 to 2026. I have not had another heart event or kidney crisis. This long recovery created a natural experiment inside one body. 2-stage recovery. The improvement did not happen at a constant speed. From 2010 to 2014, the risks of both CVD heart and CKD kidney dropped rapidly. That was the period when my weight and glucose declined the most. After that, the curves flattened and entered a long, stable phase. In simple terms, when a heavy load is removed from a damaged structure, the first response is fast. Later, as the system becomes lighter and more stable, the changes turn slow and steady. This long second phase is almost never seen in short medical studies. This pattern follows an inertia-like dynamic. After load removal, the initial response is rapid, but as the system approaches a new equilibrium, the rate of change gradually slows and stabilizes. Different organs, different responses. The kidneys improved first and improved the fastest. This tells us that the kidneys are very sensitive to glucose. When glucose dropped, kidney risk dropped quickly. The heart improved more slowly, even after glucose became stable. The heart risk kept going down because my body weight was still falling. This means excess weight is a long-term physical burden on the heart and blood vessels. In simple words, good glucose control protects the kidney early. Body weight reduction and blood pressure control protect the heart over the long term. Flow problem versus rupture problem. My first 5 episodes of chest pain, beginning in 1994, were most likely caused by a temporary lack of blood flow. The heart muscle itself was not weak. The problem was that the blood supply could not meet the demand during periods of high work stress, severe obesity, and elevated glucose. After I reduced the load, my chest pain disappeared after 2004. My stroke was different. It was not a flow problem. It was a rupture of a fragile small vessel in the brain after many years of structural weakening. It was the same vascular system, but 2 completely different modes of failure. Metabolic memory. After my hemorrhagic stroke in mid-2025, during the 8 months from July 2025 through February 2026, my glucose rose slightly by about 12 milligrams VL, a 12% increase. Due to stroke recovery stress and the reduction in daily walking steps caused by post-stroke exhaustion, however, my heart and kidney risks continue to decline. This means that a short-term rise in glucose does not erase the metabolic improvements built over the past 16 years. My body retains the effects of that long period of reduced load. That is metabolic memory in real life. Post-stroke decoupling. Before the stroke, my body weight and glucose moved down together. But after the stroke, a new pattern appeared. My weight kept falling, but my glucose went up. This split pattern of the two biomarkers was not caused purely by poor lifestyle discipline. My food intake stayed the same, and I slept 30% more. However, my walking steps dropped by 50%, and my body needed extra energy to repair the injured brain. These internal changes pushed my glucose level upward. If we only looked at the glucose number, we would make the wrong conclusion. My total metabolic condition was still improving. Crossing into a low-risk state. Around 2020, both of my risk curves fell below a key level and never rose again. After 2020, my system became stable and resistant to short-term fluctuations. The past damage did not disappear, but the future became safer because the load stayed low. What this means, these findings challenge several common beliefs. 1. A higher glucose value does not always mean lifestyle failure. 2. Different organs heal at different speeds. 3. Long-term improvement can continue even when one number gets worse. For total metabolic load over time is more important than a single test result. Most important, the body must be seen as one connected system. 3. Diseases. 1 cause. Obesity created a heavy metabolic load, which led to diabetes, and a long duration of diabetes progressively damaged my blood vessels. My heart failed first. During 1994 to 2004, when both my metabolic load and business-related stress were extremely high. My kidneys failed later, and 2010, after many years of sustained high glucose, my brain microvessel ruptured last, in mid-2025. Following decades of structural weakening combined with a sudden surge in blood pressure. Although these events occurred in 3 different organs and appeared as 3 different failure modes, they all came from the same long history of chronic overload. Conclusion. This 17-year record shows that when the total metabolic load is reduced and maintained at a low level, the risks to multiple organs continue to decline for many years. Even after a stroke, a body that has already entered a low-load state continues to move toward greater stability. The key message is simple: my body behaves like a structure, and risk rises from the total load applied over time, when that load is reduced for many years. The protection becomes lasting and cumulative. My past damage cannot be erased, but my future can still be protected. After the stroke, my body weight and glucose moved in different directions, showing that during recovery my body gives priority to internal repair rather than to keeping every number perfect. A single lab test is like a snapshot of the weather, whereas a long-term trajectory record reveals the underlying climate. Disclaimer: I write this paper not for fame, but to share what I have learned so others can understand their health, prevent disease, and live longer, healthier lives. This content is provided for educational reference only and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights for this article and its related materials belong to the author, Gerald C. This content is provided for educational reference only and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights for this article and its related materials belong to the author, Gerald C.